My name is Zack Miller. I work for Summit Public Schools. I've been a math teacher with Summit for 4 years, and now I'm moving on to become the math specialist for Summit. Here's what I can share about Summit's math program. It's something I really love because math fits so well in the vision of our model. Our model separates content and cognitive skills, and what we need to teach is the Common Core, and that separates what we need to teach into the content and the math practices. And those math practices are essentially our cognitive skills. So, what are the essential ones in our model and in our classes? Math modeling is huge. Being precise, communicating, critiquing the reasoning of others. Anything that's a math practice standard kind of has its place in our cog skill rubric, and there is a ton of overlap there. Since our program is so often focused on doing real world problems and real world investigations and activities, modeling really comes into play, and that is a skill that comes up again and again in every math course. Now, what sort of stuff do we put before kids to have them show off these skills and develop these skills? And it's really tasks of all sorts. Some tasks that are 6 weeks long and are like huge and multi-step and require a lot of research and a presentation at the end, and some tasks that are actually quite short that might even wrap up in less than a week. Really, there's what we're not looking for is a set time or duration of a project. We're looking for rich mathematics and opportunities to both teach and assess the Common Core math practice and standards and content standards. We know that when we do those together, when we teach content in a constructivist way that really requires mathematical practices, then we're doing the right thing in the classroom. What changes are we trying to make for this upcoming year? We are trying to ensure that our kids are engaged in rigorous mathematical thinking and that they are doing mathematics every class period. Now, that may sound like an unambitious goal, but that actually is something that's very important and is missed in a lot of math classrooms across the country. Oftentimes, students are mimicking mathematics and copying procedures or going down a prescribed path or following prescribed steps. What we want to ensure is that students are really thinking mathematically. They are doing mathematics, not copying someone else's thinking like the teachers or like a video's thinking, that they are engaged in the process of doing mathematics. And when we look at our classroom activities and projects from that lens, I think I'm really excited for the work we're going to do this summer to make our projects worthy of our students and to develop their mathematical thinking and critical reasoning skills. To think about what influences, like how are we going to look at the curriculum when we make these changes. Lately, I've been really influenced by Phil Darrow, the co-author of The Common Core. I heard him speak recently, and he spoke about how good lessons happen in thirds. The problem is posed, and that is the first third. And within that, the question can be developed. Students need to gain an intuition for the question and really internalize the question and wrestle with it, maybe estimate and do other things to make sense of the question. Then they work individually, perhaps at first, and then collaboratively, ultimately working towards giving a presentation where the audience is the class. We don't want to go to the place where students are engaged in one-on-one with a teacher with a whole class of spectators, that verbal ping pong where every other student is sort of watching a debate happen between student and teacher. No, the job of students' arguments and their work time is to prepare something to share with the class, and everyone writes out what they're going to be sharing with the class. And not everyone presents, sure, but the teacher's job is to then sequence that mathematical thinking, preferably from sort of a concrete approach to solving the problem to an abstract one. And when the students present, the teacher's role is to facilitate. The teacher is not necessarily the one imparting the knowledge, although if they do need to come in, it is in that last third where the teacher is wrapping up and bridging from student thinking to the grade level thinking that needs to take place. So those thirds are problem posing, students working and presenting, and then teacher wrap up. That is teachers bridging to grade level understandings. To me, it almost seems like the flow of a story. And to quote, to sort of look at another major influence on our math curriculum and on me personally, Dan Meyer's 3-act tasks that sort of start with a hook, something engaging, something you want to know the answer to, something rich. Then Act 2, where students are doing the work to try to solve that problem, and Act 3, where there's a resolution, where sort of students understand, are they right or wrong, or if they're right, is there a quicker, more efficient way to do this, where the concepts really come in. If there's direct instruction, it happens towards the end and not in the front. Students really have a chance to get the math. So when I think about tasks like this and curriculum like this, it gets me really excited because it's a math class I would have loved as a kid. And, it's problems that no matter your age, they make math class fun and they make it educational. And most importantly, it reflects the kind of learning that needs to happen in our schools to prepare students for college and career and to meet the demands of the Common Core standards. So really excited for all the changes that will happen this summer. Of course, we'll be working on playlists as well, in addition to those changes that we'll be doing to the projects, and we'll be making our playlist resources richer and our assessments more. I don't know what the word is. I think sometimes we're trying to find the right balance between difficulty of questions on tests, on the content assessments. We definitely in class do rich tasks that, if we think of, it's a high depth of knowledge needed to answer those. And sometimes we put those really challenging questions on the content assessments, and we're not sure if that's the right place for them. So I think we might want to make the content assessments be exclusively about procedural understanding, and really just, can they do the sort of the more labor-intensive math and the procedural work that they can practice on Khan and learn from our resources, and then when they come into project time, can they do the rich tasks, the ones that push them deeper, and that push for more conceptual understanding and long-lasting understanding and application. Those are the ones that happen in class. So we're going to sort out all the pieces that we have and work towards getting a great math curriculum this summer to roll out in the fall. Thanks for listening, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Again, my name is Zack Miller. My email is zmiller@summitps.org.